gonna start over. I'm scrapping what I was talking about earlier because apparently that's not the message people need to hear today. Um, 3 attempts to go live, then I still got disconnected, and my Facebook was all in Spanish. So, not sure what was going on there. Don't know how it got there. Profile information's all gone now as well, which I don't know if I did that clicking through Spanish stuff, trying to change it back to English, but I am back in English, which I can actually read, and I think we're good to go. We should be streaming down into the groups and into the YouTube channel. I do apologize that this isn't through the event on Facebook, but it had expired by the time I'm getting this on air. So, dedicated to bringing you guys great information and the things you need to hear. So, I'm just going to take that as a sign from the universe. I drew a new card because I was just wanting to start over on this message, and I'm going to go with this because not only does it have the name of my business in there, Flow, um, I am in sync with the flow of life. So I'm just going to roll with it here. I'm going to just off the cuff bring you guys some information that I think is going to help you have better wellness in your life. A little bit about the flow title real quick because I just brought it up on here. I'm not sure if everybody knows that flow with Dr. Joni was derived from an acronym. And the flow for me, I really believe that different people have different desires in life and different things they want to do. And wellness is going to look different to that person than maybe the next person because some people want to climb Everest, some people want to binge watch Netflix. And there is a place of wellness for both of those people, but it looks different, right? And so, depending on what your desires are, because that's really first cause, that's kind of our divine connection, is in what those desires for more life are. And so, with that in mind, the unique lifestyle and wanting people to find their optimal wellness, I really came up with the name Flow. And the acronym FLOW is functional living, optimal wellness. So you got the F is functional, L is living, O is optimal, and W is wellness. And so to me, it's really important that we find that for every person. And especially when I work with my clients, that's really where I want to be. I want to find their optimal wellness for the things they want to do and desire. With that, I also have a proprietary process that's called Flow. And when you're in my 3-month group program, then you get exposed to that. And that's where we go even deeper. And that acronym carries through into there. And the F there stands for find the root cause. The L stands for love yourself enough. The O stands for own the tools and strategies. And the W stands for wellness lifestyle. So yeah, I mean, most of you guys already know I got some quirks, right? But I love acronyms. I love things that have meaning. I love things that have multiple meanings, and that really resonates with me. So you'll see lots of that as we go through trainings and things like that. I think it helps you remember. It helps you keep the intention, which is really the most important part of life, right? Is holding the things you want, the more life that you want, near and dear to your heart, and keeping it present and center. And the easier we can make that, the more likely we are to follow through with that. So that being said, I'm going to just jump into the energetic side of inflammation because that's what I'm drawn to today. And perhaps I'll try again next week to get more into some of those nitty-gritty details. And especially if anybody has questions, please feel free to send me some messages, DM me, and ask your question. If you can be live, go ahead and you can type questions in the comment as we go along, and that's perfect. I'll keep my eye on it. I might not stop as soon as you post, first of all, because Facebook's a little delayed with the comments, but also I might complete my thought first, but I will circle back to the comments before I finish today. When we're healing, it's a journey, right? And we all start at maybe a different place. So, like, if a person has inflammation, they might have joint pain. And so they'll try to find a provider that is going to help them with their joint pain. And then it might kind of work for a while. And then they have swelling in their hands and feet. And so then they kind of try to find somebody that, does that. And that might resolve, they might figure out the reasons behind that. And as you can see, you can continue on going through life with this underlying condition. And my own journey, as a physical therapist, I learned quickly that it's not all pain is physical, right? And I learned this both in life and as being a clinician, is that we are multifaceted beings. We have lots of different areas that comprise wellness for us. We've got the emotional, the spiritual, the physical, the mental, the emotional, and we have to have all of those things coming through at a place that creates wellness for us. And so the energetic, kind of back to that energetic side of inflammation and underlying um, the underlying kind of rub is really the rub, right? So, like, if you think of inflammation as being a frustration, because really that, if you think about that, a little bit angry, a little bit of a frustration, and this really a lot of times has to do with something within our self power. So we are frustrated. We're either letting ourselves down by not standing in our power. We're frustrated because we gave our power to somebody else during a certain time. And that's an interesting concept because when we give our power to someone else, it's sneaky. Sometimes it looks like us getting angry to a trigger that we no longer really want to, but we allowed that person to trigger us because really nobody else is responsible for us but us, right? Doesn't mean we have to tolerate bad behavior or constant insults from other people. But that's where boundaries and things like that come in. So that's like a whole different story as far as where letting go of self power. So I just want to kind of direct back to the inflammation side of that. And so if you're in a state of inflammation in your body and you've tried all these other things, you might really take a few minutes with yourself and find out where in life the things that are contributing to your life are you frustrated? Are you getting irritated by? Are you holding on to this energy of an experience that's happened in the past and you don't know how to move through it? And that's a place you can see that can be healed from either emotional standpoint, a subconscious belief, a loyalty pack, a double bind. Those things all contribute to us holding on to things that we may think we already healed, but it keeps creeping back up in life, like next month or the next year after you think you've healed it. And this does come up as we level up and grow. These things will kind of creep back in because our subconscious isn't really sure, like, am I going to be safe if I change? And and the answer usually is yes, right? But the subconscious doesn't really know that until we move through it and prove to it that, oh, yeah, I am safe to go in that direction. I'm safe to grow in this area and it'll be all good. Um, I often come back to other people that have done this somatic journey before me and they also have seen the energetic point of this. And Louise Hay is one of my favorites. She's got several books, one of them in how to heal yourself or how to heal your life. She's got several books. And her take and description of inflammation is actually like it can actually be more fear-based too. And I guess I did kind of talk about that, like the subconscious keeping you safe and afraid to move forward. Um, but so hers is fear, seeing red, inflamed thinking, anger and frustration about conditions you are looking at in life. So pretty similar kind of take on what I was just talking about. Um, but I think she suggests in a different way that this might be like full blown anger. And to digest that a little bit, when you're in full-blown anger and you're really revved up, you are stuck in a spiral of being in flight or fight in that sympathetic nervous system, and you're gonna freeze, you're gonna run, or you're gonna fight, and those are the only options your, subconscious is gonna let you have when you are in that seeing red phase. So it would be of your benefit to find ways to recognize that and then be able to draw yourself down into the parasympathetic state, the rest and digest. Everything good happens in rest and digest, right? We're not we have confused ourselves in society these days with this survival and flight or fight, and our brains are not doing a great job most of the time of really deciphering that we're not running away from tigers and lions and bears most of the time. I do have to say I live way in North Idaho, so sometimes we come across not lions and tigers, but we definitely come across bears and cats and things like that in the woods. But running is not usually your best option anyway. Neither is fighting. So, um, that being said, going back to that calm, that rest and digest phase, that's the parasympathetic. And this is where the magic happens. This is where the healing happens. This is where we're able to clearly see our way forward. And it's one of the best things you can do for yourself for wellness, but also if you're having this chronic inflammation, is just to get yourself into this parasympathetic state. It's where your blood um, your blood sugar normalizes, your blood pressure comes down, your heart rate comes down, your breathing rate decreases, and your brain flips into a different part of your brain. You can be creative from here, and you can be in charge of your emotions and your mental state from this place of rest and digest because you feel safe. Your brain feels safe, your your emotions feel safe, and it allows you to move forward with much more clarity. If there's any questions, again, you can kinda put them in the chat. Hi, Christy, thank you for letting me know I'm coming through. I super appreciate that. One thing about, um one thing about using Restream, I do need to find out how I can tell. I can see someone's watching also, but I can't tell who it is. So, one of the easiest ways to take yourself from that sympathetic fight or flight into parasympathetic is breathing. So just do some concentrated breathing. I um, counted breathing. So when you inhale, count how long your breath is, and then when you exhale, count how long your breath is, and match those up. So if your inhale is 4 counts and your exhale is 5 counts, try to make your inhale 5 counts and your exhale 5 counts, and breathe through your nose. So we do have an energy center on the back of our throat that allows that brainstem again to flip over into parasympathetic. The breathing is a really good, easy one. Using essential oils like lavender and anything calming. There's tons of blend out there. Grounding yourself outside, just going outside, standing on the ground. Again, breathing through all of these will really help you. This will also allow you to recognize your trigger. If you can calm yourself and take a few breaths, then you can analyze this from a place of love and understanding for yourself, some curiosity versus shame, guilt, blame on the other person, things like that. And so then you're allowed to take responsibility, and then we're back again to that, like, power, like, you're gonna be able to be in your power, and you are going to be able to allow ego to kind of leave. And people do get weirded out when you start talking about ego. Um, and they get frustrated if they get into ego state. But again, like the subconscious, ego is just there to keep us safe. Like it has allowed us to put up some boundaries. It has allowed us some self-confidence. Um, but it's not necessarily from a place of love. But thanking it for protecting you is always the first step as well. And allowing yourself to then just be in your power in a way that's for yourself and not for the validation that you're going to be getting from other people. Yes, Diana, um, in through the nose and out through the nose for the calming breath. Um, Lots of different ways to breathe. If you breathe in your nose and out your mouth, that's great too. Breathing in your nose and out your mouth does allow for a great energetic release. So there's just some nuances to that and also some comfortability because you really do want to be comfortable if you're trying to calm yourself. So I think today that's going to be what I cover, unless I see some more questions in there. And maybe Fridays are going to be rant days. I'm not sure. Um, and I'm hopefully don't end up in a different language next Friday so that I can just be in English and roll with it then. Um, and at the end of the month, I am going to be doing um, a webinar. For that, you do need to sign up for. So you can just direct message me and I'll get you the link for the webinar. It's going to be on the last Friday of the month and it will also be recorded. So if you want to sign up to get the information, but you're not really sure if you can make it, that's great too. We can get you signed up. We can get you in the email sequence so that you can catch them. And then maybe even for the next month, put it on your calendar so that you can make sure you can make it. Those are going to be a little bit of teaching, but those are also going to be some in the moment healing and coaching to allow for some quick wins for whoever shows up. And I'm excited to bring this forward for everybody. And yeah, just really help people see that they deserve to find optimal wellness for themselves. So have a great weekend. And I will. Oh, I do see another question just popped in here. So for essential oils, Diana, I use doTERRA oils. I love doTERRA oils because they are simple. As I've went through this journey of being more holistic and getting rid of chemicals and things in my household, doTERRA popped up for me through a trusted friend and my sister. And I just love the simplicity of them. They have a CPTG rating, which doesn't compare them to any other oils, but it allows me to know that they are at least this certain amount of quality in them. I can get you a link for that. So if you just send me a direct message and then I will message you back with the link as how to order them and maybe some guidance on which ones would be good for you. That being said, there's a ton of great oil companies out there. I just again use doTERRA because of the simplicity of it. They also have on their label, they have a serving suggestion, serving fact ones on the ones you can ingest, and it's not on the ones you can't. So again, that makes it super easy to know which ones you can take in and which ones you should apply topically or through a diffuser. Okay, have a great weekend, and I will see you next week.